He's been called a modern-day Al Capone, a ruthless gangster in a Brioni suit, the Dapper Don. John Gotti has fascinated the public for some time, but we haven't heard him speak since he was sentenced to life in prison in 1992. Well, tonight you'll hear Gotti in prison talking about the things that matter to him, his family, his image, his life behind bars. John Miller gives you an exclusive look at government surveillance tapes. And when the Godfather talks, well, it's fascinating.
You know where I am? I'm in Marion Penitentiary. I'm in G Unit, the most secure unit in this planet. No contact, no nothing that ain't monitored or like that.
He is John Gotti, boss of the Gambino crime family, serving life in one of the nation's toughest, most secure prisons. All of Gotti's visits in jail are recorded by prison cameras.
Right now I'm cursed. I'm stuck in this jail here, and that's the end of it. You know, this is my realm right here. You know what I mean? That's the end of it. There's nothing I can do about it.
The tapes are a remarkable document because for the first time, Gotti, who has never done an interview, can be heard talking about what his life is like now.
My whole life exists in a 6 by 6 foot cell. My whole life, day and night, night and day, every day.
We hired Jerry Capisi and Gene Mustaine to consult on this story about Gotti's life behind bars. Capisi works for the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and Mustaine teaches at New York University. Together, they've authored 3 books on the mob.
What do I do? What kind of a quagmire am I in here?
They supplied us with these tapes of Gotti, made in Marion Prison, in January of 1998 during a visit between Gotti, his daughter Victoria, his brother Pete, and one of his grandsons.
Let me tell you something. I'll take your troubles and cancer. How's that sound? Fucking rats. I might never eat another meal with a fucking human being, the way they got me planned right now.
He was number one. I mean, he was number one in the media. He was the number one gangster. He was the Dapper Don. He was the Teflon Don. He was looked up to and feared by all members of his crime family.
Gotti took over the Gambino crime family in a burst of gunfire when he ordered the murder of the old boss, Paul Castellano. Gotti looked, sounded, and dressed like a gangster right out of the movies, a modern-day Al Capone.
One important factor with John Gotti is he beat the case 3 times in a row. That helped establish him as a folk hero.
And as the boss of the family, he ran the family with the iron hand.
Bruce Mao was the FBI agent who brought the case that Gotti couldn't beat. Tapes of Gotti meeting with gangsters, bugs that recorded Gotti talking about murders. And Gotti's right-hand man, Sammy the Bull Gravano, the star witness. Gotti hasn't forgotten.
You know why I'm here? It took them $80 million in 3 lying cases and 7 rats that killed 100 people in the witness protection program to finally frame me. You understand?
He's blaming everybody for his own problems. And he keeps forgetting that he's there because of his big mouth, his arrogance for the law. He was our best witness at the trial.
Because he was on tape.
He was on tape.
Talking about murders.
That's right.
And there are moments when Gotti concedes he made his own bed.
I know where my mistakes are, where I made my mistakes. They're too late to remedy, you know what I mean? The fruits from them mistakes are here.
John, as you know, I know John Gotti very, very well.
Bruce Cutler has been John Gotti's lawyer since 1985.
He's a man of pride, principle, and dignity, and certainly as upbeat as one could be about life.
I feel good. Everybody should feel as good as I feel. I don't know how I look, but I feel great.
Gotti's life in prison is a lonely existence. 23-hour lockup, 1 hour a day in an outdoor yard that is caged in. No contact with other prisoners. But he says that doesn't bother him.
It don't take much to make some people happy. Other people need to have a planet, you know what I'm saying? Put me in that category, you know what I mean? I don't take much to make it. If this ain't spoiled milk, I'm happy for the day. You know what I mean?
Gotti spends his time working out and reading, but he prefers books on history and adventure to crime novels.
Ricky, how many times did I tell you I don't read murder mysteries?
A lot.
Why do you keep sending me murder mysteries? You think I'm a liar?
No.
Or you think I really don't know what I like?
How come no murder mysteries?
As soon as he opens it, he knows the outcome of the book, so he doesn't hold his attention.
Oh, well, he should have been a detective.
A policeman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
think so?
he's that's not what he wanted to be.
Beyond Gotti's reading habits, the tapes also reveal he is clearly on edge.
I mean, what part does this make sense? I'm trying to figure this whole thing out.
These tapes, by the way, were made right after his son was indicted. So if he's angry, if he's frustrated, do you blame him?
I mean, is my son a boss? He's no boss. There's no mom.
Gotti's son, John Jr., was rounded up with more than a dozen other alleged mobsters. He was charged with running the show for his father. But John Jr. wasn't arrested with members of the Gambino family from his father's old crew. Jr. had his own crew, people that his father had never heard of, with mob nicknames that left John Gotti a little perplexed.
This is stupidity from down the line. I can't even identify two people in the indictment. Marshall, I don't know, the Sea Monster,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sigmund the Sea Monster, Tony the one-handed leprechaun, Philly jump over fence roof. I don't know, where do these people come from? Where do these? I'm not away 100 years. I'm only away 7 years. Where did these creatures emerge from?
Gotti couldn't understand how his son could have left investigators so many clues. In one of Junior's hangouts, investigators found what they said was a secret list containing the names of mafia members, 2 guns, and $380,000 in cash. Junior claimed it was his wedding money.
All I know is one thing, Pete. I don't think I'll ever find myself in a position where I'll put my wedding money, $380,000, whatever it is, in a basement near a broken safe with a bunch of old jewelry. I don't understand it. I mean, it behooves me, you know. Maybe somebody could put me on the right track.
And Gotti says, while he hates the prosecutors for targeting his son, he doesn't blame them, because he says his son made it too easy.
I want to slaughter them all. I don't want to kick them in their ass. I want to slaughter them all. I want to slaughter every one of them. This is on tape. But I don't blame them.
And when Gotti is not talking about the family's legal problems, he's giving his own version of fatherly advice to his grandson.
Let me tell you a little story, young fella. You don't even know what the word name calling is. When you go to school like I went to school with 2 different color shoes, broken shoes, and they call you white trash and bum and all that, you know, I went to school, you hadn't fought them. That's what it was all about. That's what people respected. The next day they see you, they salute you.
Gotti also offered his grandson some long-range career advice and shot down some role models.
John talks about, you know, whether the grandson might want to be a lawyer. The grandson says, well, maybe I might want to be a professional athlete. The grandson apparently was very good at the sport of baseball.
Let me tell you something about basketball players and baseball players. To be a good basketball player or a baseball player, first of all, you got to be a good liar, a good low life, and an imbecile.
Take a lot of drugs.
You got to take steroids. You must take steroids. And anybody that takes steroids is a garbage pail.
So he's putting him in his place a little bit. That's what a grandfather does when he's a little bit stern. And when the grandfather is in a glass house on a telephone on 23-hour-a-day lockup, you can understand the frustration.
Another recurring theme in the tapes is Gotti's connection to what he used to call his public.
John Gotti always made it a point of proclaiming that he was his own man. And I think a lot of people find a very appealing message.
I got mail last night from Australia, South Africa, New Zealand. This is all last night. I'll send you you won't believe this mail, you know what I'm saying? Forget about it.
He gets mail from all over the world, John, and responds to it with a 2-inch pencil, and his penmanship is second to none.
Gotti gets stacks of mail, but the family he says he really wants to hear more from is his own.
That's another thing. Did you hear me ask the last 2 years in a row to my family to please put all the kids together and send me a group picture at Christmas time? I think they did. Did you ever hear me say that to you?
Yeah, we did do it.
You do this year?
Can we take pictures?
Yeah.
He was referring to one Christmas, the prior Christmas, where the photographs didn't come through. And I don't know why, and of course they did come through shortly thereafter.
So maybe I ain't got it coming. Maybe I flattered myself. Maybe me and a lot of other people think I'm more important than I really am. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever John Gotti's relationship is with his own family, the U.S. Department of Justice maintains he is still the boss of the Gambino crime family. And that's why they say they intend to keep him under the very restrictive conditions at Marion Prison.
Unfortunately, John has tried to run the Gambino family from Marion to this very day, and that's why he's not eligible for any transfer.
And they said, well, Mr. Gotti, you know, if you just sign on the dotted line here that you're not going to be part of any mob or group, of course you'll be in a normal place. He says no. He says no, John. He's not part of any mob or group.
Then why not sign?
Because he denies it.
There's no mob. Am I correct? As far as I know. As far as we know. As far as we know. So.
If it becomes a metaphor as the second coming of Al Capone according to law enforcement, so be it. He had an impact. He's John Gotti. You'll never see another one, John.
You'll never see another guy like me if you live to be 5,000. I'll always be me. I'll always be a one of a kind till the day I die. I'm tired.